Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 21 of the Sunday Sauce. Andrew, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, dude. The show's finally old enough to drink.
Yeah, I know. We're finally of age to drink, but here at the Sunday Sauce, we drink milk and
Milk.
nothing else. Only milk.
Only milk.
Tyler Adele alongside Andrew Mucario. We cannot thank you enough for joining us for this playoff prediction episode. Now, being that we've done about 6 episodes all season, it's kind of hard to say this is overdue. It's not necessarily underdue, but we got to do it.
You gotta do it.
So, talking about the season, pretty much going till the last second, I don't think anybody could have legitimately thought it was going to go to the last second.
It was meaningful hockey played on that Friday, the last day.
As we know, Colorado did lock up the 1 seed in the Central Friday night. They beat, I believe, Nashville. Am I right on that one? Yes, they beat Nashville. But we also, other than the playoff bracket, some awards were already handed out Friday night. One award was handed out in January. McDavid obviously officially takes home the Art Ross Trophy for 153 points, which is absolutely mental, but I doubt either one of us would ever say we didn't see it coming.
Nope.
Some other league news: the NHL will send the LA Kings and Arizona Coyotes to Melbourne, Australia for next year's Global Series. I don't know about you. I couldn't think of a less desirable game to watch.
Maybe they're like, all right, Phoenix is hot. Australia's hot. Let's put them in there.
I just think it's funny that they're going to send Bedard right to Australia as soon as he gets to the league.
Well, we'll see about that one. I don't think he's going there.
Obviously, the NHL released the draft logos for both. I'm sorry, the draft logo and the awards logos for this year, both looking pretty snazzy.
Make it nice and clean.
Another award officially handed out Friday night was the Jennings Trophy, which, again, I cannot say I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, unreal goalie combination.
Legitimately unmatched goaltending all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it went to any other goaltender tandem in the league, I would have been beyond shocked.
Straight up wrong.
And now the official NHL draft lottery odds have been released. And according to these odds, Bedard is headed to the Duckies.
Quack, quack. Him and Trevor Zegras, oh, baby.
Trevor Zegras, give me Bedard, give me Sam Steele. I want a flying V. Now, here's what's wild to me. So let's talk about the obvious for a second. Draft is rigged.
Of course.
He's going to go where the league wants him to go.
And you're going to say exactly who I'm thinking of.
Is going to Chicago.
I thought, I was going to say he's going to go to Pittsburgh.
For them to have Pittsburgh jump from the 14 to the 1.
Hey, man.
Like, I don't even think Vegas could ruin those odds.
Listen, you never know. But you know what's crazy? Like, most of these teams are really bad. Imagine he goes to Buffalo.
Yeah, that's not even really a bad team.
No, they're going to probably be a playoff team next year, in my opinion.
Well, look at the entire list. Oh, my God. Right, well, look at the entire list right here. Let's start with Calgary, right? Calgary, not bad, not good. They're kind of, yeah.
That's perfect, yeah.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, I would kind of put in the same category. I'm not even looking at Nashville. They'll never send the superstar to Nashville. Buffalo, again, he goes to Buffalo. Buffalo's finishing either the second or third seed next year.
Yeah.
I could legitimately say the same thing for Ottawa. They put Ottawa in a whole nother conversation next year.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares about St. Louis. again, the Red Wings would be a powerhouse next year if they managed to get their hands on him.
Absolutely.
Washington, not bad. A lot of injuries this year. Took themselves out of the playoff race when it was already too late. Not necessarily a team I want to see with 6% odds. Nobody cares about the Flyers. Nobody cares about the Coyotes. Let's just get that established. The Canadiens are, I don't think Bedard overnight makes them a better team, but I think it absolutely steps them in the next direction where they're not finishing in the top 5 of the draft lottery.
Yeah.
And again, San Jose, Columbus, Anaheim, they'll never let a superstar go there in the draft.
No, of course not.
I would be floored is the right word to use if he ends up in Chicago.
I don't even like that fit though. It's like they're not even a young and up and coming team, so it kind of sucks.
No, they're old and all over the place.
Imagine the Coyotes get the number 1 pick, and then you notice that little star next to the Senators pick. That's quite the draft for the Coyotes.
Let's see. Under the terms of the March 1st, 2023 trade, Ottawa will transfer its first round pick in the 2023 NHL draft to Arizona if it's not a top 5 pick. If it becomes a top 5 pick as a result of the draft lottery, but if it stays a top 5 pick, Ottawa retains the pick.
If it's top 5, I'm saying if the Coyotes get it and their own pick is number 1 and Ottawa's not a top 5.
So you're saying like Ottawa gets the first over?
Arizona gets number 1, and let's just say Ottawa gets like 8
picks.
Yeah,
that would be something.
That's quite the draft.
That would be quite the draft. That would be ridiculous. Some other tidbits to talk about through the league. Obviously, we all know of the legendary historic season of the Boston Bruins eclipsing the single season NHL wins record. I know the graphic says 63. I believe they ended up finishing with 64. I believe this was the graphic posted immediately after the win.
Checking. They finished with 65 wins.
Oh, okay. So I was wrong twice. Nice. Now, just some other tidbits going through the league. Obviously, the end of the year, the NHL is farming stats. They're just trying to find anything they can make an article on. So I'm going to bring you this wild regular season Connor McDavid stat. That he is the first player in NHL history to record 3 separate point streaks of 15 or more games in a single season. It was the 5th time in his career he's done this, which equaled Peter Stastny, who did this 5 times for the 3rd most 15-plus game runs in NHL history, behind Gretzky and Lemieux.
I could throw up right now.
Oh, don't worry. Because if you wanted to read this stat, he had a 16-game point streak to end the season.
Talk about securing your spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, which, if my math is correct here, that would put him on 7th in the all-time list.
Correct.
Behind, nobody important. Timo Solani, Dale Hawerchuk. That Wayne Gretzky guy, he seemed like he was pretty good at hockey at one point in time.
He was all right.
Yeah, he was decent.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's the playoffs.
It is. Let's go.
Now, by the time this episode airs, it will be about 13 hours from now. So for us, we have a little less than 24 hours till the first game starts. By the time this episode goes live, we're going to have just less than 8 hours.
And you'll be sweating. Tomorrow is your day, baby.
Tomorrow is my day. I'm already sweating. I don't if you can see the shine. I'm dying down here. I'm going to actually open this window.
Watch out for the plants.
Not my plants, not my problem. I really hope she was asleep so she didn't hear that. But this is, in my personal opinion, this is going to be one of the most mental playoffs that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna be just sweating out of every pore of my body.
So, looking at the series opener schedule, obviously you can see who's playing who. So, all of the game ones from Monday going to be the Panthers and Bruins, the Islanders and Hurricanes, the Kings and Oilers, and the Stars and the Wild. Everybody else kicking off Tuesday being the Maple Leafs and the Lightning, Devils and Rangers, the Golden Knights and the Jets, and the Kraken going to visit the Snow People. Now, looking at the bracket as a whole, which I am going to pull up right now because we're just going to get right into it.
Let's all dive in.
We're jumping right in. You know what? How about this? I'm going to do you one better. We're jumping right in. Logo comes down. Banner comes down. We got nothing but the playoff bracket. No distractions.
Yes.
Now, looking at the 16 teams involved, it is very hard for me to tell anybody with a serious face that there's a clear favorite.
Yeah, I completely, especially including the team that everyone thinks would be the clear favorite. There is no clear favorite.
No, because look, if you want to talk about the history of the President's Trophy winner, they don't usually fare well in the playoffs. Yeah, they don't fare well in the playoffs. Most recently, 2019, the Tampa Bay Lightning, who tied the Red Wings season wins record with 62, got bounced in the first round and got swept by those terrible Columbus Blue Jackets.
The Columbus Blue Jackets.
So, and not only from a history standpoint, not only was that the first time a President's Trophy winner has ever been swept in the first round, it was Columbus's first ever series win as a franchise.
Yep.
So, I mean, kudos to them for making a statement here.
Yeah.
But Tampa and Toronto, I mean, look, I think everybody's going to be a Tampa fan for at least one more round. I can't. I'm not okay with Toronto winning. I need them to stay in the first round.
I'm feeling the mood juice. I don't know, dude.
You drinking the milk?
I think I'm pulling for Toronto. I think it's time.
No, the longer it takes for them, the better. Let's see. Islanders, Carolina, in my opinion, is probably the closest thing in the first round that comes to a swing series. Like either one of these teams can win.
That is, I think, out of all these series, the highest chance of upset. In terms of seeding,
I think it's one of the higher chances as far as an upset would be concerned. But my upset watcher is definitely going to be on Seattle.
You think so?
I do, because Seattle ended the season on such a, I don't want to say they finished on such a high or a low note, but they finished on just carrying consistent momentum through the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
Where I just think that if they keep everything clicking and moving at the right pace and keep all the gears, turning at the right time, they can take out Colorado.
They can.
Devils Rangers, in my opinion, is the series to watch in the first round.
Absolutely.
Like, look, not for nothing, and I'm gonna apologize to Joe in advance in case he deems this potty mouth, but they're gonna beat the piss out of each other.
I mean, this is the Hudson River rivalry times a billion.
And there's got to be a little bit of juice. Now, look, I know everybody says that players don't buy into rivalry. First of all, yes, they do.
Oh, absolutely, they do.
And second of all, both of these teams have to be foaming at the freaking mouths, knowing that they could have to deal with the Islanders in the second round.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Look, I'm not saying we would beat you or you would beat us. We got to get there first.
I just mean
But
mentally for me.
whether it be
Ugh.
Islander Ranger or Islander Devil,
Yeah.
that is, in my opinion, no matter how the rest of the second round shapes out, that becomes the series to watch in the second round.
Yeah, immediately, and a big part of this first round matchup being some nuts too is not even. I mean, yes, the teams hate each other, the big rivalry. Their two arenas are a 25-minute drive from each other.
And
It's
in a grand total, all three of these arenas are within an hour of each other.
Yeah. UBS to Prudential, you can get there in an hour.
You can do. Well, I don't know about you, but I've done my front door, which is not far from your front door.
Yep.
To Prudential, I've done that drive in an hour 15.
I personally have never driven there, but I can vouch how easy it is to get there by train.
Yeah, even train is probably.
It's from us. It's what? It's about 45 minutes to Penn Station, and then you ride on the NJ Transit for 2 stops.
If you time it properly, which I did, I went to. Don't ask me why. I went to a Devils Sharks game.
Sure.
Joe was there.
Okay.
Well, and actually no, I drove with Joe. What was the other one I went to? I think it might have been another Devil. Oh, it was Devils Islanders Halloween 2015. I remember.
Okay.
I took that afternoon express train that gets you to Penn Station in 30 minutes.
Ah, yes.
Where you stop in for people who aren't familiar with Long Island, bear with us. You stop in, I think Freeport.
Oh yeah. I was just on that yesterday. It's after it goes from Babylon and it goes to Massapequa, Belmore, Freeport, Jamaica, and then straight to Penn Station.
Yeah, and every once in a while they'll make you stop at St. Albans.
Yeah.
But I did that, got right on the Amtrak or NJ Transit, whichever one it was. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like you said, it was a stop or 2 stops away. I left my house at 3:30 thinking I wasn't pulling up till about 5:36. I pulled up at 4:25.
Yeah, it's really, and then you from Newark Penn Station, it's like you walk 2 blocks.
If that.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, aside from playing for the Stanley Cup, which is obviously the ultimate goal here, you're kind of playing for tri-state supremacy.
Yeah.
So, the thing that you can kind of agree on, I guess, is whichever one of you two loses in the first round is just going to get laughed at all summer.
Unfortunately, yes. Or fortunately, we'll see.
Then whoever was to lose in the second round will probably laugh at you till 4th of July.
Couple weeks. Yeah.
Whoever goes to the conference final ain't getting laughed at.
Yeah.
So, from a tri-state standpoint, there's a lot on the line.
There's a reason my heart is I need medication for the next 2 months.
And here's the funny thing. In a weird way, I almost wanted to be lined up on the Atlantic end of the bracket. Only because if I had to deal with either Islander Ranger or Islander Devil, I needed 2 weeks to get to cope with it first.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's hey, if you sweep one or the other, and we sweep one or the other, I'll see you Saturday or next Tuesday, and I'm not okay with that. It's I don't know. Off the top, Minnesota, they're just a bunch of pretenders. They're not making it out of the first round.
No, I don't think so at all.
And Winnipeg, in my opinion, they're going to put up a much bigger fight than I think everybody's expecting them to.
They're absolutely going to be a tough out. They're going to put a massive effort in. I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Well, the biggest thing that Winnipeg's got going for them, which is what Vegas has going for them, what the Rangers, the Islanders, the Hurricanes, the Lightning, the Bruins, the Panthers, the Kraken, they all have the same thing going for each other, and it's how far their goalie is going to take them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Connor Hellebuyck has the ability to get them out of the first round.
He absolutely has the ability. I just don't know if I think if he gives up, some games in a playoff format, if he gives up 2 goals, that's game over.
I think the end game for Winnipeg, in my opinion, if they let their series go any longer than 5 games, they're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
I think the more you make Hellebuyck play and the more you let Vegas shoot on him, like if you're Winnipeg, you almost need to sweep or get Vegas out in 5 games to win.
Yeah, I can agree with you there.
So let's take a look at your bracket. Let's just jump right into it.
Oh, baby.
So let's see. Yeah, you pretty much the bias on here is unbelievable.
Listen, I was being unbiased here, guy.
No, you're being pretty biased.
Oh my God.
First of all, the first thing you have here that really rubs me the wrong way is you put Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I really want to slap you for it.
Hear me out. Here's my thinking. I think that should they go to the Holy Land, the Promised Land, the place they can never get to, which is round 2, they're going to be on such a high that they're just going to come out and show Boston what's up. And then they're going to fizzle out against us.
Yeah, you're out of your mind.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm just not going for it.
I know I'm taking a chance of them coming out of the first round, but if they come out of that first round, I think they're going to be riding such a high that they have a good shot of beating Boston. Combined with the fact that I think Boston is built to fail with how good their regular season was.
Yeah. Well, here's the only problem with that. Toronto they managed to get out of the first round. They managed to beat Tampa. I think they're going to be riding a high that's so high that Boston is just going to ragdoll. They're going to forget everything because they're so jazzed up from the first round.
I can agree with that there. I think that either if this were to happen, Toronto wins in 7 or Boston wins in 5.
I would prefer if you put Boston in 5. So let's see. So I'm pretty sure we both went with the same mentality with the Vegas series. It's not going to go more than 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see Edmonton sweeping LA. The thing is, don't get me wrong, Stuart Skinner, I was just talking to Joe about this before. Stuart Skinner is not a nobody, but he is absolutely a goaltender with minimal to no playoff experience.
That is true. He has no experience.
And I feel like, I mean, look, I think Edmonton wins, but I don't think they're going to just steamroll them. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure I went Edmonton 6. I went Edmonton 7. Which I still think is kind of a risky pick, but like I said, Edmonton lets that series go any longer than 5 or 6 games, they are screwed when they have to play Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, listen, my thing with the whole Edmonton sweep is I think all these series are such close matches. I have them all in 6 or 7. There's always one that ends way quicker than you think. In my pick was the Edmonton series.
All right, that I can respect it from that standpoint.
I think that has the highest odds of finishing up in 4/5 than anyone else.
So let's see. You put Colorado over Seattle in 6. I kind of agree with you, but I kind of don't. I put Colorado in 5.
I think Seattle wins 2 at home.
I think Seattle is going to come out flying for their first home playoff game ever.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm not sold on Grubauer being better than Georgiev. And I don't think that Georgiev is going to let this come anywhere close to 6. He's going to win in 5, and I think they're going to blow them out.
It could. I mean, Colorado could all of a sudden be like, "Oh yeah, it's the playoffs. We have to wake up," because after they're kind of mid-season. But I know they came in first, but their season for the most part was kind of mid.
So now, looking at the Dallas Minnesota series, which I'm not even going to ask you to justify. We both went the exact same route with that, and I still think giving Minnesota 2 games is a little generous.
Being a Dallas fan, I just know that they can play kind of stupid sometimes, so I think they give away 2 games.
I can understand that.
They sometimes play kind of stupid.
We both put Boston in 6. I put Tampa in 7. Because, like you said, I don't see Toronto rolling over and playing dead for Tampa, but I just don't. Toronto's not it to me.
I don't think they're it either, but I think they. Either way, this game, even it's a 7-game series, it's going to come down to Game 7. It's a 1-game series. There's no. I don't really think there's a way this series ends in 6 or less.
Now, you and I both picked the Islanders in 7.
Yep.
What was your reasoning?
The Islanders are a pesky team that give really good teams problems. Also, I just don't find Carolina scary. I think they, on paper, are possibly the biggest pretenders compared to their seed in this whole playoffs.
Okay. So I picked the Islanders in 7 for a multitude of reasons. One, the Islanders are notorious for the last 3 playoff appearances they were in, minus the sweeps, absolutely stealing that first home game.
Yep.
Stealing their first road game. They always steal good. Game 2, usually get a little pushback. I have the Islanders winning both games in UBS.
Mm-hmm.
I have them winning games 3 and 4, and I have them winning game 6. I think the Islanders are going to take all 3 home games.
I can see it.
Now, the reason why I think UBS makes such a deciding factor in the series. Now, I'm going to pull up a stat regarding UBS, but I'm also going to tell you to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. So it says the Islanders can become the second team in the NHL's modern era to win a Stanley Cup during the same year that the arena contested their first playoff game in a home venue, joining the 1996 Avalanche. Now, generally speaking, that's a meaningless stat.
Yeah.
The key here, arena's first playoff series. You've been to the Coliseum.
Yes.
Have you been to a Coliseum playoff game?
No.
But you've been to the Coliseum at its loudest.
Many a times.
So you are aware of what this building is going to be like for games 3, 4, and 6.
Theoretically, yes. The Coliseum, I always say the fans are loud, but that place was tiny and the sound reverberated. So it's louder than it's not. It echoed a bit.
100%. Now, but the point I'm making there is when you have visiting teams coming in, and this is multiple teams, not just one, coming in saying that they're going to an arena that's so loud they can't hear the coach standing right behind them.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that's not going to play a significant role in that series.
100%. It's going to be a lot.
But now when you look at a place like Carolina, which I don't know, have you been to PNC Bank?
No.
I haven't. I've just seen the videos that, social media lets me see. If we go there, if you go there this year, if the Devils go there, it's no different than going to a Panthers game. We overrun half the building.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know the Rangers always fill up half the building with fans. I assume you guys do too.
Yeah, the last time I saw, we took 5 sections of the building in the upper concourse.
Good God. 5
sections. What does a section hold nowadays? 400 people?
Yeah.
It's from looking at Carolina as an overall blanket statement, yes, on paper they are the biggest pretenders on the planet, but they just, even their own fans can't get behind their own playoff movement.
Yeah, there's nothing that scares me about that team at all. Like, yeah, Sebastian Aho, he's nasty, but like I'm not scared.
Now, I'm going to jump to my bracket for a moment because I know you already see what I see, and I know you're probably not going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Far and away the hardest series that I had to pick. The Rangers have the goaltending. The Devils just have it. And I don't know what it is, but it's very hard for me to say that the Devils can't win the series or won't.
I think it's wrong to say they can't win the series. I would never say that.
But it's very hard for me to say, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where I think the high that the Devils are going to be coming into the series on might just be enough to get the job done. But again, they follow the same type of formula that the Hurricanes do. Whether it's you or whether it's me, we go in there, we take the place over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you would hope that if teams return to the playoffs in 5 years, they won't let that happen. But at the same time, you and I both know if I go to StubHub right now, which I'm absolutely doing, not sponsored by StubHub.
It's the tickets at the Prudential Center are half the price as MSG.
That's the other thing. So let's see.
Because I considered getting tickets to a game at the Prudential Center, but then I remembered I'd probably get stabbed walking through Newark in a Rangers jersey.
Yeah, probably.
That's not worth $200 to me.
So let's see. Tuesday for game 1. Now, let's just say, theoretically speaking, how much would you want to spend on a ticket?
At the Prudential Center, considering I know how much the prices are, $250.
Let's see, $250 at the Prudential Center right now puts you in a suite.
That's unreal, man. You can't even get in the door at MSG for that.
No, I'm dead serious. Here, look, I'll show you. Present. Share my screen. Share the screen. Like, I was not kidding.
Unreal.
Now, that would be... why are we doing that? I don't care about the 4. I care about S116. There we go.
That's nuts.
Like, you've been to Prudential. You and I both know how close those suites are to the ice.
Oh, yeah. They're basically on top of it.
Like, you almost can't not keep going. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't even the most expensive. We can keep going. We're still in the 230s.
And you're still almost $200 cheaper than nosebleeds at MSG.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, section in the 400s, row 7, which the Chase Bridge cuts off the scoreboard, you cannot see the scoreboard, is $420.
So now if we go to the Rangers, because you know I have to do it.
Of course. Standing room only right now on Ticketmaster is going for $437.
I'm looking at 2 tickets for the first home game. This is still Prudential. God damn it. April 22nd. There we go. That's the first game. Section 419, row 6.
Yep.
The only positive to those seats, see, $467 each.
Unreal.
The only positive to these seats is that you're sitting when the Rangers shoot twice.
That's it. But the thing is with that 400 section, if you're over row 3, again, Chase Bridge cuts off the scoreboard, and that at row 7, you almost have to like duck to see the other end of the ice. It's so close. It's like the Chase Bridge ends here, and the other end of the ice, the boards, is like right here.
So now if we go to UBS, let's see. All right. All right. Not great, but better.
Yeah.
So let's see that same 250 we're talking about, because I think 250 is a decent number for a playoff game.
In New York, yes.
I'm still scrolling.
Jesus.
Still going. You can see my screen, right?
Yep. No, no. I cannot see your screen right now.
Nonsense. So yeah, I'm still going. There we go. 250 on the button. 231, row 2.
That's it. It hurts.
Like, come on.
Meanwhile, if you want to go to the game in Dallas against the Wild, game 1, you can get in the door for $60.
Get out of here.
I'm looking at it right now. $60 you can get in the door. I could theoretically fly to Dallas and go watch that game for cheaper than going to the Rangers game against the Devils.
I'm looking right now. 2 tickets to game 1. Oh my! First of all, what the hell kind of shape is this place?
It's it's a shape.
You got to be kidding me.
Crazy. It's utterly insane.
So we have to look at now for good old S's and G's.
It's
We need to see how much a finals game in Dallas would be.
oh god, probably nothing, honestly. Comparatively.
Stanley Cup final home game 1. Oh, that's a lot of money.
That is, I mean, cup final.
The only thing I don't like about StubHub, you are not allowed to spell anything wrong on their website.
No.
Now, let's take a potential game 7. You people have lost your minds.
Crazy, man.
For a game 7. Hold on, I'm not even sharing the right screen.
I'm going to say $2,300.
What is, I don't care about that. This is what I want. Why is it not sharing the screen I wanted to share? There we go. You people are nuts.
It's disgusting.
But then they wonder why the common folk don't go to hockey games anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so moving on to the second round of the bracket. Now, I totally understand why you would put the Rangers over the Islanders, but I think you're stupid.
And you know what? If you say it the other way, I think you're stupid.
Because guess what? I'm going to beat the Devils.
Sure.
I think
You
the
call me
Islanders
biased.
I think the Islanders are capable of beating the Devils in 7. And no, I called you biased because if you look, let's see, they beat the Maple Leafs, they beat the Oilers. Okay, I at least lose to the Bruins.
Mm-hmm. I see through you.
Boston, Tampa. That's where my love. That's where my support for the Tampa Bay Lightning has to be thrown away. Oilers over Vegas. I just think. Look, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. You see that I put Edmonton in the Cup final. They have to get there eventually, and respectfully, the path they have this year to do it is. It couldn't be any easier if someone gets Colorado out of the picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's theirs. I mean, our west side of our brackets are almost identical.
Like, it's kind of almost unfathomable. And I'll even tell you what, I'll pull up Joe's bracket. He still put them in the West Final as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's, me and him are going to have a conversation. He put Carolina in 6. I'm not okay with
Carolina. That. Hey, you know what? We called him crazy for the Seattle things. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's kind of what makes me a little bit nervous about it. But I think look, if Seattle doesn't take out Colorado, the Dallas and Minnesota series turns into who's going to get killed by Colorado first.
Definitely could. I think not having. I mean, they haven't had Landeskog all year, but now he's definitely missing the playoffs. But Mikko Rantanen's been so good for them; it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, which is actually another little picture that Joe is so kind to provide us with. It was his first career 100-point season this year. Joins Nathan MacKinnon as the first pair of Avalanche teammates with 100-plus points in the same season since, you guessed it, 95-96.
Of course.
I'm not sold on a Colorado repeat, even a repeat to the final.
No, I don't. I really don't think so. I really think this is Edmonton's conference to lose.
Yeah. You can't have a 150-plus point scorer, a 60-plus goal scorer, both coming from the same guy, by the way.
Yep.
And not make the Cup final. Like, even if they lose the Cup final, they have to get there.
Yeah, they have to be there.
Now, I remember, I don't know about you, but for years, I keep saying, this is the last year I can give Columbus, Jesus. This is the last year I can give Edmonton any leeway. They got to figure it out. They have to do this.
Yep.
And every year I find myself still giving them leeway. Because when you have a 150-point scorer, you should be in the Cup final, I don't know, every year.
In this year they have better goaltending than they've had. That's my big thing with them right now.
Well, yes, this is definitely the most stable goaltending they've had since McDavid showed up.
Yeah.
I hate the fact I even put Boston in the Cup final, but it's so possible that it almost seems impossible.
I mean, hey, I'm not going to argue whether they had 65 wins.
I mean, you seem to argue with it.
We're going two different directions. I said they are built to fall, but I could definitely see them not doing and breaking the curse. Well, almost breaking the curse.
The thing that bothers me with Boston is that curse, where people look at things like curses or superstition. Oh, it's just a thing that the reporters make. It's really not, though.
It's in their heads. Again, as much as I don't want to say it, it's in their heads.
Again, the 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning, the 2011 Canucks. I mean, for argument's sake, and forgive me if this is a sensitive subject here, I'm pretty sure in 2014, did you or did you not win the President's Trophy?
No, but we did in 2015.
Okay, again, proves my point.
Where we got bounced by. Yeah, exactly.
You got bounced by Tampa, who was then bounced by Chicago. I mean, let's look at another sport for a minute, right? The cover athlete curse of Madden.
Yeah, I mean, it's real. It's so real.
Michael Vick has his thing. Donovan McNabb starts to suck almost immediately after getting on the cover. Sean Alexander was irrelevant after he makes the cover. I can keep going. Vince Young
Yeah.
had his own personal problems off the field. I think Madden 10 was the first year the curse was broken, and that was only because those two teams went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I'm looking right now. I mean, if you go back to the 2013, 2014 Boston Bruins, since then, only one President's Trophy winner has made it to the conference finals.
Right. And so, I mean, and again, you think of it now, somewhat off the topic here, somewhat off of our little note sheet that we absolutely do not have right in front of us. As far as the cover athlete curses are concerned, I think it's safe to say that as of last year, Ohtani broke that.
Just a bit, yeah.
But yeah, like you said, like these guys, there's no way these guys aren't thinking about it. Like you gotta think about this, right? Like you think of so many times. Like think about a team like the Kings for an example. Think about the Jets. The way that their last year or two have been, making the playoffs as a whole was a win for them. Now winning a playoff series, that's another win. Or honestly, you can go for the Islanders and the Panthers too. They're not really supposed to be here because they flirted with this till the end of the season. Yep. If they win a series, it's a win. If Boston loses anything, if they lose the Cup final, the conference final, if they lose in 7 in the first round, the season was a failure. There's no way they're not thinking about that.
It's unreasonable to say that they're not.
Now, let's see. So you pick the Rangers. I very immaturely picked the Oilers. Now, I think it goes without saying who my Conn Smythe winner would be in a Cup final.
Yeah.
I think it would go without saying who yours is.
Yeah.
There's no way it's not Patrick Kane.
That's my whole reasoning for this run and saying they're going to win the whole thing is the 4 Stanley Cups between Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko.
You mean the 3 Stanley Cups with Patrick Kane and the one little participation trophy from Vladimir Tarasenko?
Listen,
I'm just saying the Blues had no business winning that cup as is.
But they did, but yeah, I mean the big thing
they did,
and the way Shesterkin's been playing over the last 6-7 weeks.
So the way I feel about this is, I think this goes for that thing. Should a team sweep the cup final, which we all know does not happen often ever?
No,
I don't think it's actually happened. When was the last time it happened?
Googling it.
Well, the Red Wings and Penguins went to 7 games both years.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks went to 6, all 3 of their cups.
This is not an easy thing to Google.
The Kings beat you in 5. They beat the Devils in 6. St. Louis won in 7. Boston won in 7.
It'd be like the 80s or something.
It's got to be the 90s or the 80s.
The 1998 Detroit Red Wings.
They swept Colorado?
I think so. Hold on.
No, they couldn't have swept Colorado because.
No, they did. No, they weren't, and they were in the same division.
Yeah, they were still in the same conference.
The Capitals.
Yeah, those losers. So, how about this? Since we love to predict schedules so much, we don't particularly have much of a schedule to predict right now.
Not much.
Let's predict game 1 winners.
Let's do it.
Let's see. Game 1, Monday, Bruins, Panthers. I'm going Panthers.
I'm going Boston.
See, I'm taking the Panthers because I think Boston's going to come in kind of on their heels, taking it easy, kind of, I don't want to say feeling themselves too much, but, oh, hey, we're the Bruins, eh? However those people in Boston talk.
A
Uh, I think I just made the Bruins sound like Canadians, but
little bit.
I just think the Bruins are gonna kind of come in a little underprepared based off of, again, one, the rest they've had. Because remember, Boston hasn't played since Tuesday.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think they were actually the first game. They were the first ones to finish.
Yes,
I don't think they played last Thursday. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong.
I don't think they did.
Um, I think Florida's gonna catch them off guard. Um,
Very very plausible. I'm going in the other direction, saying Boston's going to come in with their chests puffed out so far, and they're going to just run over Florida.
Look, 100%, it could go either way. Let's see, Tampa, Toronto. I'm gonna take Toronto in the first game,
I'm taking Tampa.
and that's why I hate you. Um, I think Toronto has they're another team that likes to come out of the gate flying.
Yeah.
So I could absolutely see them winning this game like 6-2, 6-3,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to quote unquote set a tone for the series,
Yeah.
only to have it backfire on them for 2 straight games.
That's kind of why I think the opposite's going to happen. I could see the way I think it's going to play out is Tampa might even go up to a 2-0 lead, and Toronto's going to go, oh God, we cannot let this happen, and then really, really just fine tune everything.
Islanders, Hurricanes. What do you got?
Oh, I think I got the Islanders.
Yeah, I have the Islanders too. Again, look, based off what I was saying before, the Islanders just love to take home the first game of series from people.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Islanders are riding some momentum right now that they absolutely need to carry with them into the first round of the playoffs, especially that jolt of energy they're going to have from Matt Barzal most likely being back in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're going to torch him.
Yeah, that's a big deal for them getting him back. That's going to mean the world to them.
Now, don't hate me because I know you have to get up for work early.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Rangers double overtime.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Listen, if I got to do it, I got to do it. It happened to me last year, too, with game 1 against the Penguins.
Yeah, and I think it's going to happen again. I don't think either one of these teams are going to be willing to give each other, forget an inch, they're not going to give each other a millimeter.
Yeah, no, this game's going to finish probably 2-1.
And I'm going to tell you what, I'll tell you this on the side note. Between all 8 of these first round series, the Rangers and the Devils, in my opinion, is going to have the most overtime games.
I could absolutely see that because of the reason you said. They're not going to want to give an inch at all.
The only other series that I could see having more overtime games than the Rangers and Devils, no bias intended, is the Islanders and the Hurricanes, because the Hurricanes are just going to battle back all the time.
Yep.
The Islanders just don't go away.
Yeah, it's 2 teams that are kind of carried by their goaltending too, so that always adds up to overtime.
Right. So if you can get 5 solid periods of hockey out of Sorokin,
yeah,
the Islanders are going to win that game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Freddie Anderson, I think, can give you 4 solid periods of hockey, but he will start to fade.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm also taking the Rangers. I think this game, as much as we say this is going to go one of 2 ways, either the Rangers are going to be ready for the Devils' speed, and the Devils will not be ready for the Rangers' physicality, which the Rangers are not the most physical team in the world, but they're definitely more physical than the Devils. Or the Rangers are not prepared for the Devils' speed.
So another thing that I also would like to mention about your series, as far as now, I still pick the Rangers to win tomorrow night, but I legitimately see this going 3 ways. It's either going to go to double, triple, quadruple overtime.
Yeah.
The Devils are going to beat you 7-1, or you're going to beat them 7-1. It's either going to be a blowout or it's going to be a 1-0, 7 overtime game.
Yeah, it's not going to finish 3-2 in regulation.
No chance. And if it finishes 3-2 in regulation, chances are we're going to be on the next show talking about how the refs messed up a call.
Yeah, exactly.
Winnipeg and Vegas. I'm gonna kind of go with the Florida thing here, and I think Winnipeg is coming in with that something to prove mentality. I'm gonna give Winnipeg the first game.
Okay.
The way you say that tells me you're giving it to Vegas.
I am absolutely leaning Vegas. You have a certain somebody who has never played in the playoffs before by the name of Jack Eichel. And I think he's going to be like that movie with the bear that does some, stuff and he's all hopped up. I think that's going to be Jack Eichel.
Oh, Fun Dip Bear.
Yeah, Fun Dip Bear. Yeah. They also got your boy Jonathan Quick. Even if he doesn't start, he's going to be a massive leader on that team on the bench.
There's no way he's not starting.
You would hope not.
No, he has to start. There's no way.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Which also brings me to another point that if Edmonton decides that my bracket means absolutely nothing to them and they want to lose, I need the Golden Knights and the Kings in the second round.
Yes,
I need Jonathan Quick revenge tour.
Yeah. The Edmonton's only allowed to lose if Vegas wins.
Correct. LA, Edmonton, where are you going with that?
Edmonton.
I'm going to go Edmonton with that one too.
Flat out Edmonton. Connor McDavid's going to go do some silly stuff and just take over.
Colorado, Seattle.
That's a tough choice. I'm going Colorado only because they're home.
I'm going to go. I'll tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Colorado Tuesday. I'm sorry, I'm going to take Seattle Tuesday.
Okay.
Colorado. I'm going to pick my first 4 games right now. I'm going Seattle, Colorado, and then Seattle is going to take the first home game in Seattle.
I would put my life savings that Seattle wins that game 3. There's no chance they lose that game.
Yeah, I like I said, I just don't see a possibility where Seattle loses their first ever home playoff game. That place,
there's no way.
That place was scaring me last year that they were going to be the next Atlanta Thrashers, where they were just going to have a city of people who do not care. This year turned it around. That place was bonkers all season.
Yeah. I can't. I'm actually this coming weekend. I'm going to be at a bachelor party at Resorts World upstate, and I cannot wait to be in the sports bar watching these games.
Now, last and certainly least,
especially not for me,
the Stars and the Wild. Now, I'm going to give it to the Wild just because the Wild likes to make everybody think they're contenders in the first game.
Yes, they do.
And then they decide, oh, game 2 is Wednesday night. We're going to go play some Fortnite. And then they just disappear.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm giving game 1. I think Dallas wins game 1, but branching off of what you said, I think Minnesota wins game 2, which is like, oh, they split the away games. And then,
So now, I know we've been ragging on Minnesota a lot because they, in my opinion, they are pretenders.
Yeah.
You can't discount that Marc-Andre Fleury makes this team a totally different playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, they're not pushovers by any means.
They're not pushovers, but just every other team in the West is significantly better than them.
There's just such a drop-off when you look at their roster.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, all right, you break them down into powerhouses, right? Vegas is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Edmonton is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Colorado is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Seattle, I'm going to put as like a fringe powerhouse. Even though they're a wild card, they were still a wild card with 43 wins.
Yeah.
Now you have your okay teams in Winnipeg, in LA and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Cinderella Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
And then there's Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, looking at
Like
the
even if
roster,
Minnesota
obviously you
gets out of the
have
first round,
it's
even if yeah, it's just even if Minnesota finds a way to get out of the first round, they are going to get absolutely bodied by whoever they play in the second.
yeah, it's not pretty. Again, you look at their roster. You obviously have Kirill Kaprizov. You have Matt Zuccarello, my love, and I don't want bad things to happen to him. But then you have Matt Boldy. He scored 31 goals somehow. I don't know how that happened, but he did that. But then that's it. Who are you going to be afraid of? Freddie Gaudreau, who had 38 points. Ryan Hartman, who had 37 points. Like, there's nobody on this roster that scares me aside from the top three guys.
Right. I mean, again, you cycle back and just look at it. I mean, look, how do you gonna tell me this thing is going to be the deciding factor of a playoff series? Like, come on. I had to bring it back.
Of course you do.
But now, it's just, I don't know. Minnesota on paper, they're a good team, but they're not. To me, they're just not convincing enough.
No, I mean Ryan Reeves can't punch his way to a Stanley Cup. As much as I would love to see that, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, teams have to kind of understand that, like, the player type of Ryan Reeves, he's a great guy to have in the regular season. He is borderline worthless in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look, yes, do we see fights in the playoffs? Absolutely. Would I love for him to be a Ranger in this playoff? Absolutely.
Oh God.
Just because you're playing the Devils.
Yeah, of course.
I would love to see how that unfolds.
That would just be there would be police at the arena like tenfold.
He would have, he would have a policeman in his duffel bag at all times.
Literally, he wouldn't be starting because he can't have, even though he can excel so much physically, he does not have the offensive or defensive capability to play a playoff game.
So we're looking at all these teams, right? And by technicality, on paper, these are the 16 best teams the NHL has to offer this year.
Quote unquote, yep.
Now, let's just say, for good old S's and G's, you take any single one of those Western Conference teams out there, and you took them out of the playoffs.
Okay.
And you put those college arena Coyotes in here. Could you imagine the pandemonium the NHL would be going through trying to host a Coyotes playoff game?
Dude, do you imagine that campus?
It's scary enough to picture that you need to see it.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Let's just say hypothetically, the NHL had a lottery, and the team whose ball got picked got to be replaced one of these teams, and they got to have home ice advantage. If that was Arizona, it's kind of scary because their home record is pretty good. For some reason, that team did not like to lose at home. God, they would lose everywhere else.
If I remember correctly, the home record for the Coyotes was either just under or right about 500.
It's over. So the Coyotes' season record is 28, 40, and 14. At home, they were 21, 15, and 5.
21, 15, and 5. So you're telling me they won 7 road games all year?
Correct.
And one of those road games was in UB goddamn S?
Correct.
Stupid sport. I mean, it's not that hard to picture. I'm going to be honest with you. You put a bunch of intoxicated toddlers on a college campus and call it a playoff game. Like, in a way, you can't tell me that wouldn't be the coolest thing the NHL has ever had happen to them.
It would be electric.
So while we're here, I guess we gotta take a look at Joe's bracket quick, because I would feel horrible if I asked him to put in the work for this and then we didn't look at it.
Of course.
So let's see. He's got the Devils in 6. Love it. Carolina in 6, hate it. Toronto in 7, hate it. Boston in 5, understand it. Vegas in 6, understandable. Edmonton in 6. I'm pretty sure that's what I think all 3 of us gave Edmonton in 6.
I have Edmonton in 4.
Oh, yes, you did. Colorado in 6. Oh, Colorado in 6 is what I think we all had.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had it in 5.
5, yeah.
Minnesota in 7. Ooh, me and him are gonna have a conversation.
Yeah, that's he's throwing personal insults at me now.
Yeah, now he's coming right for your throat. After that, let's see, you've got Edmonton in 7 over Vegas. I like it. Colorado in 7 over Minnesota, giving Minnesota way too much credit. Let's see, Toronto in 6, hate it. Carolina in 5, I think that says. Carolina in 5, hate it.
Yeah.
Only because I hate the fact that he put Carolina to beat us. And let's see, Colorado in 6, Carolina in 7. See, that would be interesting. An Edmonton, Colorado rematch again.
It'd be something.
Here's the only problem I have with it, right? If it's going to take Colorado 7 games to take out Minnesota, they're not beating Edmonton in 6.
No.
Like, they'd have to beat them in 7 again. So I'll very cautiously accept Colorado in 6, but I think it would take 7. And then Carolina over Toronto in 7, I'll accept it because he didn't put Colorado in the final. And he's going with the Colorado repeat. Which
I
is
guess
not,
we'll see.
It's not far-fetched. The Colorado repeat. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really see repeats in hockey for the most part.
Right. I mean, that's the big thing. You see repeats in hockey. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I just checked the weather on my phone for some unexplainable reason. It says it's going to snow at 3 a.m.
I think that's in the wrong town.
It better be.
I think it's 55 degrees right now.
Yeah. Well, when we review our overall season standings, which we are very hopeful to have Joe back for,
yes,
we'll definitely review our brackets too. Let's see. Some any other tidbits that I'm forgetting? I'm going to put this up because it looks like it was very nicely made for us with a solid black background.
Pretty.
I got nothing. You got anything? We covered a pretty solid chunk.
Yeah, I feel well prepped for the coming week.
I'm not mentally ready.
Oh no, I'm not mentally ready for the Rangers. I'm ready for everybody else. I'm not mentally ready for the Rangers.
Yeah, just because I mean, so the Islanders game's at 7 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reffing at 10. I'll be very upset. I have to ref during that.
I know. I'm reffing during the Ranger game 1 too.
Game 1?
I'm repping. Yeah, I'm only gonna miss the first period though.
Still too much.
I know,
but that's okay though because it's going to go to double overtime, so you get those periods back.
It works out exactly.
You got anything to add?
We're good, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the playoff prediction episode of the Sunday Sauce. We'll be right back here in a week.
Yes, sir.
In a week to discuss the picks we have made, how we're doing, which is actually funny because even this time next week, first series the first round won't even be over. Like teams will like by the time we air next week, game 4 is technically still wouldn't have been played.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm all for that.
Absolutely. This goes till June, baby.
This is going till June, and then we have to spend a lot of time figuring out content. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for episode number 21 of the Sunday Sauce. Tyler Dell alongside Andrew Vicario. We cannot thank you again enough for being here, and we cannot thank our friends at the Eastern Observer enough for the help they give us, specifically Joe. Joe is the one responsible for making all these graphics for us today.
He's a good guy. He works hard.
He did us a very big favor.
Yes.
Also, our friends at Levidity LLC for letting us borrow Andrew. Plot twist: I stole him, and they cannot have him back.
I'm here for
only for ransom.
Yeah.
As always, drink your milk. Whatever this thing is, it's playoffs, baby.
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your first round games, and we will see you next week.